Greats like Bob Cousy, Bobby Orr, Ted Williams, and I could go on and on. But today at breakfast, a woman said to him, "Mr. Adams, are you nervous?" He never gets nervous. Imagine being on the top of the Hancock Tower and looking down. Imagine being over the Soviet Union and looking up for the flag. This guy doesn't get nervous. And of all the 4 inductees, he's the only one who still has a job. Russ Adams.
Thank you, Bud. Hall of Famers, Class of '07, Executive Committee, and my wife over there, Betty Jo. She's been with me and made this course too for the last 57 years. I've enjoyed tennis, and as Bud said, I went out the first time with the junior tournament, Mrs. Whiteman of the Whiteman Cup, and also a member of the Hall of Fame, and she took me out, a couple of juniors, where they played 4 games. She stood next to me, and every time that I was supposed to take a photograph, she'd whack me. Well, I took a couple myself. I thought it was a little better timing. And she says, now you're an expert. And I said, no, but I'll be back tomorrow and we'll have a chance to look at it. So that's how my experience started with tennis. And it has been a great pleasure. Now, we have photographers sitting over here working. That wasn't allowed when I first started. But after Arthur Ashe won the Open, the next year, Rod Laver was going for the Grand Slam. And Mr. Talbot, Billy Talbot, he was the director of the U.S. Open at that time. He came and he said, I got 59 photographers coming. Where do we put them? I said, on the court. No, sir. Well, with a long discussion, we finally put the gentlemen out on the court, and they've been able to do what photography could do for tennis as far as showing great photographs. And they're still doing it, and they're still allowing us, with the restrictions there should be on anybody, not to interfere with the game. I've enjoyed it. And I know that every photographer has had an opportunity to work and do a nice job. I have tried to help on the growth of tennis any time that I could in any way. And I am very pleased and honored that I was nominated and elected the first time a photographer had this. And I sure do appreciate it, and I want to thank you very much.
Right there, my man. So I take that terrible coat off. Russ Hall of Fame blazer and your induction certificate. Welcome to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, our Hall of Famer, Russ Adams. Yeah. From 1950 to 1961, he was a member of the Swedish Davis Cup team and still holds the Swedish record for most Davis Cup doubles wins. To introduce Sven today is a gentleman who also had a distinguished Davis Cup record and tennis career. Please welcome Hall of Famer Vic Seixas. Victor.
Thank you, Tony. You took my speech away. Anyway, in 1950, on the center court at Wimbledon, in the first day of the tournament, I met Sven Davidson. 1950. We've been friends, good friends, for 57 years since then. And I think prior to Bjorn Borg, Sven was the greatest tennis player Sweden ever produced, and he still has many records, the first of which is what Tony said, the first Grand Slam winner from Sweden. He also won the French singles title in 1957 and the Wimbledon doubles title with Ulf Schmidt in 1958. He's in the Swedish Hall of Fame, and he represented Sweden for 10 years in the Davis Cup with a record of 62 wins and 23 losses. That's a lot of tournaments. But beyond the tennis playing days, Sven returned to Sweden and helped to create the Swedish Open in 1969, which was the first prize money tournament in Northern Europe. He also is in the Swedish Hall of Fame. I'm happy to see his son and his daughter here today, Sven Jr. and Sven III, sitting on the very end down there, the third generation of Sven. Enough about the tennis. I just would like to say that I've known Sven for so long. We're such good friends, and it gives me a great deal of pleasure to welcome him into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I was very moved when the great Vic Seixas told me that he wanted to introduce me today, and I'm very grateful for his kind words. Thank you, old buddy.
Thank you.
I started hitting balls when I was 4 in a small town in Sweden. My beloved old brother Kurt taught me everything he knew about the game so that I could become his training partner. We could have guessed that this kind of a beginning, who could have guessed that this kind of beginning could define a life? 2 months ago, or 2 quarters ago, I was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. Obviously, this has been devastating to me, my family, and my friends, but I turned 79 years old yesterday. And I've had a very full life, much of which can be attributed to this game I love, tennis. We don't know what the future will hold, but I'm very grateful for this honor and the opportunity together with so many of my old friends once again. I also treasure being able to share this day with my friends and family, in particular my 10-year-old grandson, Sven III. I congratulate my fellow inductees Arantxa, Pete, and Russ, and I thank the International Hall of Fame President, Tony Trabert, the Hall of Fame Committee, the Hall of Fame staff, and the membership. To all of you, from Sven from Sweden, thank you very much, and skål. Was it acceptable?